All right, we're back. It's Monday night and been super busy again at work. It's still crazy upside down. Start masking the body up. I'm gonna have to hand draw some of the door logo, but some of the scale features of the truck we're gonna do, chrome door handles, chrome bumper. Her truck actually has a billet grill, so we're gonna have to maybe mimic that with fine line, and then at least we'll have to tape it out. And that's all the taping we have to do is just the logo, handles, and the chrome stuff, because the body is pretty much gonna be black with patina, rusted roof, faded paint on the hood. And we're gonna try to mimic somewhat the chrome factory molding down the side. It's just a little 16th inch chrome stripe to make it look like the molding. Not gonna be able to reproduce the S10 logo that's on the fender. It's too small. But I think we're gonna get the idea of how it's supposed to look. So let's get the masking and see how far we get. All right, that was simple enough. We did our chrome trim with the 16th fine line as FBS. And we mimicked our door handles because the S10 just has a rectangle door handle. You can barely see it right there, but there's our door handle. That'll be chrome. We got our chrome bumper taped off. We got our headlights and grill. The headlights are like a chrome bezel and then it has a billet grill. May try to mimic that with fine line tape. Even though it has a molded grill in the body, we might be able to disguise it and just do some straight bars in it. So now the fun part, I gotta get the logo made. I'm gonna go ahead and do the letters on my computer, and it has 2 cross pistons. May have to do that by hand. And with the chrome being down here and on the real truck, all of our logo is right here, so I don't have a lot of space to work with because I want to leave the chrome in there to make it look right. So if you move it down any lower, it's not going to look like an S10. It's going to look like a chrome stripe. So we're going to see if we can squeeze in the logo right there. It's not going to be exact because that truck is hand painted, and I'm not going to be able to do the pinstripes and stuff. I'll at least get the logo and the name, and I believe I can do the 2 pistons by hand. So let's get fire the old computer up and see if we can get some logos cut. All right, we got something here. It's I believe it's close. We're gonna have to hand draw the pistons, and that's gonna be a trick because this whole logo is only like 1.5 inches tall. So I got to squeeze in 2 cross pistons in between those letters and do it by hand. Not sure I'm even gonna be able to cut this because it looks like my vinyl is blotting up. Yes. Okay, that ain't gonna work. All right, first attempt was a failure. We're gonna hit it again. We changed the blade and we put a fresh blade and lowered the pressure. So, attempt number 2. All right, this is proven to be very difficult to make these logos this small. So we're going to try the next trick. I can't weed it because the outline might be a 0.5 millimeter. I mean, it's tiny. So what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to stick the whole thing on the car and see if it sticks better to the car than it does this paper. I've used this trick in the past and it seemed to work okay. The only trick is getting it straight. So we're going to trim it up a little close with some scissors here. And wish us luck, because this is such a small area. I'd probably recommend getting that logo printed. I'm sure a decal printer could make that and it would be one and done, but we're going to attempt to paint it, and let's give it a shot. All right, I think we managed to get one on there. The outline around shop is probably not much wider than a human hair, honestly. It is just a sliver. There's no way I could show you on camera. Part of the S on the shop didn't exactly cooperate, but what we got going for us is this is supposed to be weathered and kind of patina anyways. So if it's got a little imperfection in it, that's fine because it's supposed to look weathered and wore out. So at least we got that going for us. But it looks like the speed or the lens Everything cooperated except the outline around the S kind of peeled, but I ended up getting it stuck back down. That outline around shop is so small, I can't tell if it's still there or not. The S on speed, part of it's missing, and it appears that maybe part of the, even with my smart people glasses, I can't see. All right, we managed to get both of them on there. Had a couple little letters get torn, but I cut 4 to have spares. I had to seal part of the L right there. That's fine. It's going to have the patina look anyway, so it can stand to be a little bit on the rough side. It's going to get the point across. I just put this transfer paper on the inside. I think that's what I'm going to cut the pistons out of. I'm going to take my fine point Sharpie and draw them on the outside. And then they're pretty simple. It's just 2 pistons and 2 rods crisscrossing. And again, don't have to be super detailed because we're doing it so small. And even on the real truck, it's a kind of a patina style, and it's all hand lettering, so it's not perfect either. It's got the human element. So hopefully we can draw them close enough where they look similar and trim them out, and then we can start the patina process. All right, don't laugh at my rough sketches, but if you look at the real truck, it's kind of cartoony looking, so that's what we're going for. And we got it on our light board here. And keep that in perspective, that little piston right there is not even a ½ inch tall. So there's my fingernail compared to that piston. So we're going to try to trim those out, and we'll probably do a little Sharpie detailing once we get it all said and done, and add to the weathering. So let's get the cutting that out, and then we'll move on to the paint. All right, we're back. It is now Tuesday night. We got our tiny pistons drawn on there and got them cut out. Did those in the transfer paper. Anyway, so we're going to start the patina process. This one's a little bit different. This one I'm trying to mimic the actual truck, and the actual truck has a rusty roof, a little bit of rust on the A-pillars. The hood just has worn away paint with gray primer showing through. So I'm going to have to try a different process. I may spray the black and leave some of these areas kind of thin, and then come back and sand away the black so it'll look worn, not just like overspray. So we'll sand the overspray back, and then we'll spray gray over it. Reverse process if you were doing a fake patina on a real car. For the most part, the truck's pretty even all over. It's just kind of flat. It's not shiny. Just from being sunburned and all that good stuff, and being a 30-year-old truck, almost 40 years old. So it's going to be a pretty easy paint job. The worst part's going to be weeding these, still weeding the logo on the door because it's so tiny. Again, it's not going to look exactly like the actual truck, but we'll get it as close as we can. All right, if you hadn't seen the other patina videos, it's not very complicated the way I do it. This is a piece of the bag that the body actually came in. And I made 2 different shades of brown here. I got the Fast Color Fast Brown or Fast Dark Brown. Then I took another one and I tinted it down, made it a little darker. After looking at the pictures of the truck a little bit more, there is some faint rust coming in on the bed sides. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to mimic that. Because I don't want to overdo the rust on this, because the really predominant rust is on the roof. So what I want to do is try to re-engineer rust. Or de-engineer it. Like, it comes in layers. The deeper it is, it's a little darker, a little more black. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take some lighter brown and just do a couple of random spots, maybe more so in the center or maybe the edges of the doors. And then I'll dry that, come back with a darker, but leaving gaps between the mottliness so the black paint will show through, and that'll add to the depth. And it'll really come together once it's flat cleared all over. Thankfully, like I say, the most time consuming on this truck is going to be the logo on the door. Other than that, it's basically 2 colors. It's going to be gray and black, and then the brown's going to be done by hand, so I don't count that. Oh, storming outside. Yes. Pulled a piece of the bag off. I wadded it up. And not trying to make it an instructional video again. Just trying to hang out and paint a body while it's monsooning outside and 40 degrees. You don't want it too wet, because if it's too wet, you're just gonna make it brown. You're not gonna have a modelly look. This one's easy. Like I said, just an A-post and the roof seems to be the worst part of the whole truck. We gotta leave room for some gray primer in that door too, so not much. All right, there's our first bits of the brighter color that's going to be on top. So now we're going backwards. We'll fill in. Go ahead and get this dry with the hair dryer, and then come back with the darker one, and leaving the same kind of gaps so the black will show through. All right, same process. So I got this dry. If you do it wet on wet, they're going to blend together, and this will make it just a darker shade of brown. If you want them to be distinct, two different colors, you need to get it dry. And then same deal. We're just going to do a little bit more with this, because this is going to be the majority of the roof is brown, like a dark brown rust. And simple enough, just kind of blot it on there. We'll go right back over where we did the lighter stuff. We're going for realism, but not really. Still gonna look fake. Gets a little messy, but the beauty of it doesn't matter, because it's rust. It's not fixed. Yeah, I'm already seeing distinct two colors. You might not be able to see it in the camera yet, but I get a good picture of it with the masking off. Though this blue masking kind of throws everything for a loop, because you don't really know what you got, because you're tinting everything blue. Starting to look like an old piece of tin you left out in the rain. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to do. We're going to go back now. I'm going to take some of this lighter brown, still called dark brown, and we'll do a couple little streaks around the logos and maybe around the bed line, some of the body lines. But for the most part, our rusty roof is done. Clean up our mess before we stick our hands in it, and then we'll get the airbrushing. All right, on to the airbrush section. We're just going to throw a couple of streaks in it, look like water streaks. Not going to get too carried away with it. May add a little bit to the bedside, because that's where it's starting to show some rust, and but not enough to get it all crusty. So maybe throw a little bit of brown in there just to break up the black. But for now, we're going to do some little water streaks off of the logos, and maybe around the windows here. Yeah, that's pretty good. We're gonna stop there for now, and we'll come back and we'll start spraying some black. All right, we got all of our water streaks on. You can kind of see it if I get the light just right. Just a little bit of weathering around the logos, coming off the doors. Went ahead and put a little brown along the edge to fill in those gaps between the dark brown and light brown. Put just a faint brown on the bedside, on this molding, around the tailgate handle. It's very faint. You really won't see it until it's all said and done. Dusted just a little bit of brown underneath the grill, on the edge of the grill on the top. So now we're going to go ahead and spray our black, and I'm going to use Spaz lacquer, number 00110. The reason why I'm using lacquer is because I want to sand this, and water paint don't sand real good. And so we got to leave a blank section a little bit in the center of the hood, edge of the fenders, and there's actually a little bit of gray showing through on the edge of the doors. We're trying to get it as close as possible. Again, we're spraying backwards on a lexan body, so there'll be no doubt whose truck this is when it's all said and done. So go ahead and spray the black. Keep in mind I'm leaving these areas thin, and once we get that done, we'll be ready to basically start the logos, and I'm not looking forward to that at all. So let's get the black on and go at it. All right, there's where we left our streaks. We may go back and add a little bit more to that, but that's a good starting point. We're not too far. It's easier to add than it is to take away. So we'll get this dry, and then we'll start the sanding process. All right, I had to skip ahead and go ahead and pull the outline around the logo on the door, because I'm afraid if I get too much material in here, I'm not going to be able to even see that, and I can barely see it through just one layer of black. We're not going to get too fancy because the actual truck has like purple drop shadows and then some teal, and it has some teal pinstriping. I'm not going to be able to mimic that just because it's so small. So we're going for a likeness. I want to outline the logo in teal, and the logo actually is a weathered white. So it's a good thing that this is a patina body because these letters are so tiny. I can't get them weighted or super clean. So that's fine with this kind of paint scheme. You can kind of see them in there, how tiny they are. Kind of works with this paint scheme, being a little rougher. So we're going to go ahead and spray the teal. Try to be careful not to get it up here in our blank spots where we're going to go spray our gray. And then it's all downhill from there. Now you can read it. Yeah, it would look so much better if I had been able to put the purple drop shadows on it. But my machine will not cut things that small. Now we can go ahead and proceed to, I'm going to sandbag some of this overspray. I'm going to use some like 1200 grit sandpaper. And don't worry about scratches. You don't see scratches, especially in the colors like this. The only time you see scratches is if you were spraying chrome. So, yep, we're going to sand that back, spray our gray, and then we can pull our letters and get that sprayed. All right, we scrapped the idea of sandpaper. Just tore off a piece of my red Scotch-Brite pad. And we're taking that and just rubbing away some of the overspray and giving it that kind of a natural worn look. Kind of see the paint going away there. Basically feather edging, if y'all are familiar with fixing scratches in a real car. We're just feathering back to black. I think for the most part we got a pretty good look there. Kind of looks faded out. And it's going to look kind of funny when I pull the film off because it's going to be shiny and faded. That's where the flat clear comes into play. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. We'll spray some gray on here. But first, I think I'm going to pull these letters out. And they're kind of, as you see in the picture of the real truck, they're kind of weathered and worn down too. So we might take a brush and just drag some white paint across it, and then we'll spray gray over it so it'll look like it's kind of weathered too. So let's get those pulled off, and we spray the gray. Combine in steps, trying to get this thing done. All right, we got all the logos pulled out. I'm going to take a paintbrush, add the wrist pins and the pistons, and in the crank, the hole for the crank bearings. And we'll I'm going to attempt to take this acid brush and drag it across the actual lettering to give it that worn look. This is all an experiment. Instead of using a Sharpie and cheaping our way out, we're going to actually try to paint the details in the pistons. Again, you're not going to see this until I get it painted or all painted and unwrapped. Alright, I think that's all we're going to do for that. We're going to have to get that dry because we're going to get ready to drag some white paint over it, and we don't want to smear all of our black with this good. So let me get that dry and we'll come back and see what we can do about weathering these this logo here. Alright, we got that dried up. We're going to attempt this brush deal. I think I need to get it like a dry. We don't want a coverage, we want it kind of streaky. I think less is more here. So for my little experiment here, it don't take much. This is all trial and error. I've never really had to weather a logo on a body. I've done the patina plenty of times. So we're going to attempt the backwards weathering of a letter here, or a logo. So we're just going to drag it over kind of dry. We don't want coverage, because coverage is going to not get the effect. Yeah, I can see it. I can feel it. How's that look? That looks kind of weathered to me. All right, we got both sides done. What we're gonna do now, I just got my gray that I use on everything. I actually lightened it up a little bit. It's got a little extra white in it because the hood on her car or her truck it's gray, but it's almost white from being sunburnt. So we'll be able to jump right on it, and there'll be enough difference between this gray and that white to make the logo pop. This ought to be enough. We still got to go with the chrome, and then the chrome gets back to black again, so we're going through several stages. Yeah, check that out. Faded paint job. And again, it looks tinted blue because of this blue film on the body. I dig it. I wish we could have done the purple on there, but this lettering was so small, I just couldn't make it work. If I had a real steady hand, you could do the purple on the outside before we clear it, but I don't want to take a chance in messing that up, so it looks close enough. We're back. We got our billet grill laid out. We just used, it has some mold lines in here already, so we just went ahead with the mold line, and then we split the mold line with 1/16 fine line. The green is our corner marker lights and our turn signals in the bumper. We got our chrome pulled through the side, chrome door handles. Yep, the only thing left is spray the chrome, tail lights, and then the flat clear. I wish we could do it tonight, but we may have to hold that off till tomorrow, and that'll put me editing this video tomorrow and posting it while I'm at work. So yeah, let's get to spraying some chrome. I see a little place here I got a little screw up I'm gonna clean up, and then we'll pop right back on and spray some chrome. Chrome's super easy. You do not want to scuff it underneath, because if you do, you will see all your scratches. Unless you're going for some kind of special effect, and you want chrome, don't do that. Couple light coats, it flashes super fast. Boom, chrome. Don't pay attention to that orange and green. The orange is going to be black, and the green is going to be orange. All right, we're going to let that flash off. We're going to pull the grill out, the orange, and spray that black, because you have to back the chrome with black. And then once that's done, we'll spray our orange corner marker lights, turn signals, and our red tail lights. All right, nothing too exciting here. We sprayed our turn signals and our corner marker lights. We just used some Wicked Orange 0004. It's kind of transparent, but that works fine for those lights. They're not really more of an amber orange anyways. So only thing left is spray the tail lights, and then we will proceed with the flat clear process. We'll show you what that means here in just a second. All right, we got all of our colors on. We backed everything in gray just to make it look finished inside. Not necessary. So now for the flat clearing process, what we want to do, we want to leave our windows shiny, and we want to leave our chrome shiny on the bumpers, and maybe the pinstripe down the side. Haven't decided on that yet. Tail lights can remain, I don't know. I may do those dull too. I don't know. Anyways, what we got to do is we have to trim carefully around all the windows. Everything that we want to leave shiny, we have to trim around, and then we'll peel the film off, exposing the body, and then we can spray the flat clear over that, leaving all of our shiny stuff shiny. So let's get the cutting here. All right, we got everything trimmed, and we went ahead and started pulling it off, being very careful around here not to pull our bumper or grill apart, because it's a little bit tedious right here. And be very careful when you're scoring this. You don't want to score the body, because if you do run this body, or if you just pick it up funny and that you cut that too deep, it's going to break. And you don't want that. Normally I say this is the most satisfying part of painting a body, but right now we're still a step away from finishing. Although you will get to reveal your work, get this blue film off. Still pretty satisfying to see how it looks, but with this truck being patinaed, we're not going to have the full effect until we get the flat clear on it. Unless you're into the shiny rust thing. I know a lot of people clear coat their rust. I did not trim around the tail lights. That being so small, I'm afraid it would just tear. And if we want to tape those off, it's easy enough. We can tape them off from the outside. There you go. There's your patinaed, faded, rusty roof, S10, weathered door logos. I think we'll get the full effect once we put the flat clear on it. It looks really cool and shiny, but yeah, we're going to continue on and get our flat clear on here. All right, I lied. I cheated a little bit. I have my space heater next to me and my hair dryer going on this body to heat the body up. I did warm up my spray can to pressurize it a little bit, very carefully. And with it still raining outside, I think we have pretty good results here. So there we go. There's our flat body. Now we pulled the bumper off. Pull the grill out and you can see there's your shiny grill and your flat black. Still got blue windows. We gotta pull that off. Now that's pretty cool. We'll get it unwrapped and we'll get it on the car and we'll take a couple of shots of it and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, guys, there it is. We're gonna wrap this up. I didn't get to my Legends car. I got the grill taped up and the running board as far as I got. That's not gonna be an exciting paint job anyways. But I think this thing turned out pretty sweet. I think it mimics the real truck pretty close. We still got to paint the center of the wheels black. That the real truck has a brush finish wheel with black centers. But it's pretty good progress for one evening. We started last night, wrapped her up tonight. I wasn't sure we was going to get this far because I was really concerned about spraying the flat clear. I do not recommend spraying it in cold, damp conditions. But like I said, I had another thing I don't recommend either. I have my space heater kind of blowing on me, and I have my hair dryer coming the other direction. And I had warmed up my spray can to get it pressurized. And as soon as I got it on there, I hit it with the hair dryer, and it didn't blush. Everything turned out really nice. There's our faux patina S10, and I hope we do her Aunt Lynn proud. She built her real truck in remembrance of her aunt, and I think this is a pretty good representation of her actual truck. So there you go. Appreciate it, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment. Sorry if I feel like I'm rushing through some of these videos, because I am. It's Tuesday night, and it's almost 10:30, and I got to get this thing edited tonight. So maybe if I can get calmed down at work, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Maybe the editing will get a little bit better, but appreciate you coming along and dealing with some of my rushed videos, but turned out pretty cool, say so myself. Later on, we'll post up a picture of it with the wheels painted. It didn't make it this video. That's going to take another little while to tape up these wheels and paint the center, so it's no big deal. But we'll post it on Instagram when it's all said and done, and maybe we'll post it with the real truck if we get a chance to meet up with her to deliver it. So here you go. Thanks for watching. See you next time.